So illusionists could cast illusions. And obviously this could be quite useful in Dungeons and Dragons, because if you can, convince your opponent that, let's say, that giant hole in the ground isn't there because you've cast an illusion of, dirt on top of it, then they might fall in the hole. You've taken care of that orc right there. Let's say, fall into a bungee pit and it's done. But casting illusions is what the media does. And there are, of course, globalist-run illusion narratives that are very powerful. One of them being climate change.
All of the modeling for climate change indicates that we're going to be facing superstorms, storms on steroids, droughts, famine, the disappearance of the ice caps, the disappearance of the glaciers on every continent.
It's a total illusion, right? Completely made up, not backed by any actual science.
In England, virtually everybody accepts the science of global warming. They haven't been subject to the $100 million propaganda campaign that's been funded by the oil companies, as we have since 1997 in this country, that says that global warming is a hoax.
He's always struck me as someone who's very compassionate, very, very human, really cares about other human beings. And that's, that's something that I feel like I really resonate with him on that point.
This whole Tea Party movement came out of the nostalgia for a plantation economy. That's where it came from. Why is it that they all came out of those dozen southern states that were part of the Confederacy? This is the resurgence of the Confederacy.
But they create this illusion and then they make it powerful through peer pressure. And they try to convince people that the earth is warming and the oceans are rising rapidly, and that CO2 is a poison and all these horrible things.
The biggest crisis that we now face as a race, as a world, as civilization, is global warming, climate chaos.
And that if we don't give up all fossil fuels, that we're all going to die. It's just, wow.
Right now, we have a market that is governed by rules that were written by the carbon incumbents to reward the dirtiest, filthiest, most poisonous, most toxic, most warmongering fuels from hell, rather than the cheap, clean, green, wholesome, and patriotic fuels from heaven.
This is a spell. It's a spell cast by sorcerers.
California, which is our most fuel-efficient state, is also the richest state and has the most vibrant economy. So we know that when you decarbonize your economy, when you get off of coal and oil, you immediately experience the rewards of prosperity.
I think one of the reasons so many conservatives trust you and trust your judgment is because you were subjected to the kind of censorship and defamation and deplatforming that has traditionally now here targeted a lot of conservatives. Just the fact that you have been dragged through that fiasco by a dishonest media and a dishonest government actually means that you understand, I think, what real Americans are going through.
They don't care about any of those issues. They just don't want to pay their taxes.
I am even describing you as the healing candidate because you do tend to bring people together. You find that common ground.
I came to the conclusion a long time ago that 80% of Republicans are just Democrats who don't know what's going on.
Bobby Kennedy just really stands out as someone who cares. It's not a slogan, it's not an act. It's who he is.
You hear the teabaggers saying that big government is the big threat to our democracy.
And just to be clear, I consider RFK Jr. to be an American hero, a real treasure to this nation. Even though I may not politically agree with him on certain issues, it's so far beyond that. The man he is transcends politics.
And they don't want a black person to be president of the United States. And I'm just telling the truth.
I just want to reiterate that I believe that RFK Jr. wants to give power back to individual people to decide their own lives, to keep the product of their own labor, to make their own medical and health decisions, to live in peace without the threat of war, to live in freedom without the threat of surveillance or privacy violations or censorship.
Are you solidly for Hillary or are you more anti-Trump?
No, I'm solidly for Hillary. I think Hillary is going to be a very, very good president.
And I believe that if RFK Jr. were to become president, it would be a great gift to this nation and our world, frankly.
And I think President Obama has a deep moral center, and that global warming really concerns him.
You should know that you are loved and you are appreciated across America, across political parties. You are a pro-human being. You are pro-human human being yourself, and we love you for that.
Public radio is not liberal. It's just, neutral. It's just truth.